Guys, welcome back to the Merry Boozers RC channel. Tonight I have something super exciting sitting here on the table, the brand new Fw 190. I have been very impatiently waiting for this airplane to hit our bench, and I am super stoked to get it out of the box. So let's get this thing out and let's get to looking at it. So guys, we got it out of the box. Check out some of these scale details all over this model, from the rivets to the panel lines. The graphics look great on it. Something you'll notice is this is a three-piece wing. The wing goes together extremely simple with the standard horizon quick disconnects now. The airplane also has a drop tank that's easily removable. The airplane comes with big beefy retracts, big tires. The airplane also has plastic molded details all over the inside of it where the hatch goes on, to keep it from getting damaged when you're taking the hatch on and off. This will also prevent chipping around the canopy. So starting the assembly, the first thing I've done is laid out the screws for you to show you what everything goes. The smallest ones are going to be for your elevator to be installed. Then you have the 6 medium-sized screws. These are going to be to put your prop together. And then they give you 1 extra of these longer screws to put the wing on. The wing only goes on with 4, but you get an extra. First step on the assembly is we're going to get our elevator put on. So you're going to take your carbon spar that's provided in the kit, slide it on in. Don't force it, guys, just work it in there. Then we're going to take our elevator halves, slide them in. Remember, don't force anything. Take it easy. Everything should fit nice and gentle in there, just like that. This is definitely an airplane that's easy enough. You could actually put this together at the field. There it is. Make sure your tabs are clicked in together. Now we're going to take our 2 smallest screws and drop them. And put them in. Now, at this point, you have your control linkage here. I'm going to leave it off until I power up the model the first time. That way I can adjust my neutral position for this. Alright guys, next step in the process is to put our wing on. Go on and make sure that your wing connector port here is nice and secure. I just put a screwdriver on there and double checked it. Go on and give everything just a little pull, make sure it's all glued in good. Now that we know the wing is ready to go on, it's as simple as taking this wing. There's wing connectors here and here. Don't force, once again, everything about this, we don't want to force it. It just kind of will fit in there. Everything keys up. Give it a little push down. Make sure it's good and fit. Now remember, we're going to use the long screws now, provided in the kit. And put all 4 in. And there we go. It does have a nice plastic receiving point on all 4 of these. Don't go too crazy tightening this up. You will suck these down through the foam. So just make sure you get them nice and snug, and that should be good to go. All right, guys, our next step in the process we're going to do is bind the airplane. I know the manual tells you to put the wing halves on and the prop on at this point. I highly recommend you wait to put the propeller on this airplane until you are completely done assembling the airplane and you've tested everything. It's just a safety precaution I recommend. So, to bind this airplane, I've put my 5000 6S all the way up here in the nose. I strapped it in. Now we're going to plug in. We're going to push the little bind button. That's going to put our receiver into bind mode. We're going to pick up our transmitter, hit the bind button on our transmitter. And that will bind our airplane. My radio right now is going to say analyzing packs because it's a new model. And there it is, all set up. One thing I will say, whenever you're actually initializing this for the first time, make sure your airplane's flat. I had it the way I had it for you guys to see it getting put in, but make sure your airplane's always flat. So now that we have our airplane bound up and the model on, I'm going to put my control linkage on back here for the elevator. So what you want to do, if I were to plug it in as it came out of the box, there would have been a lot of up in it. So what you want to do is look down the side, and you want to screw it in or out. I need to go in a couple turns. And we want it to where when we look down the end, that elevator is flat. So I need a little more in. That gets it for us. So now we're going to snap it in. Ooh. I think it only goes in one direction. It does. The ball link only goes on one direction, guys. And she is tight. There it is. There you go. And now it's snapped on. So while we have the airplane upside down, we just put our elevator on. This is a good time for us to adjust our flaps. Remember, in your radio, you need to have this airplane set up as one aileron, one flap. If you have an IX series or an NX series or a DX series radio, they're all going to be set up this way. You need to set it up as one aileron, one flap, wing type. And then you can go into your radio and adjust it. So I'm just going to set this up real quick. Negative 100 for flaps up. I'm going to go 50, or excuse me, 0 for mid flaps or takeoff flaps. And then for full, I'm going to put them at about 90. And then per our manual, we need some down trim in our elevator. And then it's just the second box beside your elevator or your flap position. Blah, blah, blah. Gets confusing talking about this. So it says that we need 8% down elevator at the takeoff position. So I'm going to look at my elevator. I'm going to click in 8%. And then for full flaps, I'm going to click in 15% of down elevator. The last part I want to do, guys, is set up my speed. So all the way down at the bottom, speed, set that to 2 seconds. Now, they deploy nice and slow, as you can see, and my elevator goes down as it should. Since we have it upside down, this is also a good time for us to check the gear. They're working great. One thing I will say is I like my gear to be down with the switch away from me. So what I'm going to do now is go in and reverse my gear channel. we go. Now my gear up is when I pull the switch up towards me. Gear down, switch is down. All right, we flipped the model back over. I unplugged it for this part to put the wings on. So now all we have to do is slide them in. They're probably going to be tight this first time. They just push in. Nice affirmative click. If they're very tight, you could always pinch in these little white connectors just a little bit. There it is. That gets our wings on. While we have the prop off again, let's go on and make sure that our ailerons work. So, turn our radio on. Plug in. Now we can perform our last function check. Ailerons are working correct. Elevator is working correct. Rudder is working. We already know the gear work. So now we know the model is fully working before we put the prop on. Last thing I want to do is just look at the front and confirm that the prop is spinning the right way. You can look at it at a low idle speed. It is working correctly. And you know, another good thing we can do right now is make sure our ESC is calibrated before we put that prop on. So power off, full throttle, plug in, power all the way down to 0. And now our ESC is programmed for the lowest position also. All right, now we can put our prop together now that the airplane's finished assembling and we know everything's working. So you get this little silver hub. This is going to slide in behind the little air shroud. You're going to take, this can be a little hard to do with one hand, and your prop blades only go in one direction. They're countersunk on one side. Hold that. Take your middle size screw. After you get a couple started, this will get a lot easier. I'm not going to crank them down yet until I know I've got them both in. Want a little bit of wiggle room, that helps you a lot. And go around putting them in. All right, now that we've got them all in there, let's go around and tighten them up one by one. And that gets our propeller put together. All right, last step in the process. Well, not quite the last step. There's still to put all our detail pieces in, but put your prop on. There's a little nut, or a little washer. And then a nut. Take a wrench, tighten her up. Make sure the prop is clear. Nothing's hitting behind it. Looks good to me. Spinner. And the last long screw left in the kit. You are getting sleepy, very sleepy. Ta-da! All right, let's get our detail pieces put on, and this thing's all done. So now all that's left is to put our little biddies on. So our guns are actually threaded on here. They do not glue in. So the shorter one, the cannon, goes towards the inside of the wing, and it just screws in. So if you don't want to knock these off when you go actually flying or transporting them, you don't glue these in, they screw in. Maybe. There it goes. That is too slick. And then there's a little antenna pitot tube. Goes all the way out here on this wingtip. And it screws in also. Very clever how they did that. So now we just put the other ones on the other side and we're good to go. So there it is, guys, the brand new E-flite Fw 190 1500 millimeters. I can't believe how easy these planes are going together nowadays. So 6 screws gets this airplane together, aside from having to screw the prop together. But that's a nice thing, because now if you break any of the blades, you just buy a blade, you don't buy a whole prop. Pretty darn cool, and I liked that they added the screw-in guns now instead of gluing them in. So for you guys that are flying off of grass and having a chance of a wing over and them digging in or anything, you can unscrew them before you fly it and you won't be tearing up your pitot tubes and things. The assembly was extremely easy, guys. You should be able to get this plane together in about 30 minutes. Just be sure you check over everything. It is still an RC airplane, so tug on all the little control surfaces, check on all your linkages, and get out there and fly, man. These things are amazing now, how far they've come. I mean, it just blows me away. This is one of the finest foam models right out of the box that you're gonna find for ease to the field. I could have easily put this together at the field. Anyway, yeah, please, if you liked this video and you've decided to get one of these, check out our link down below. We are a Horizon Hobby affiliate. If you click that link, it gives us a little commission, helps support the channel, lets them know we sent them. So, without further ado, please get out there and fly with your friends. Like, share, and subscribe. Tell your buddies and come on out and fly with us anytime. We'll see y'all in the next video, guys. See ya.